Welcome everyone. This is the Sprint 6 review meeting. We've been working the past 2 weeks, finishing up the base install, and we're ready to show you what we have. So um, again, just this is going to review that work we've completed, and we're going to show that work to you as the demo. Then we celebrate, and I'm going to go ahead and say just any questions you have, and just hold them until the end when time permits. And also, we generally make a good practice of watching the chat log here, so feel free to enter them there as well. And just remind everyone, nice courtesy of please mute if you are not the one speaking. Just a really quick update. This moves us into phase 2 of the project. Current week, this is ending week 17 out of 26. You can see the schedule and how it's going to go out for the rest of this phase. And you see there that we will be starting Sprint 7 planning for Monday, and we'll start the groups install profile and the beginning of the CBS pilot site migration. Just really quick, I want to give you a quick review of what we've been doing through phase 1 to this point. So far, we've demonstrated to you how to we've created, editing basic content and page layout. We've created some pages, demonstrated the available fields you will have, shown some of the user roles for contributors and administrators, adding multimedia and metadata to your content, and even using the navigation. We've created a calendar. We've went through creating general pages, and then some of the styling issues as well, or features is some of the style plugins, using those, and just some of the configuration and formatting of the styles, and just setting the base theme as the default. We covered the mandatory header and footer, and we've certainly demonstrated the responsiveness and showing the desktop, tablet, and mobile views. And on the content migration side, we've imported the data for the grad school. We've shown you how the menu migration works, and how some of the menu can get uh, um, completed from some of the migration data, and even importing some of the asset files such as PDFs and Word documents that are related to the files. We've gone through some of the module updates of Google Analytics, and we've provided a list of approved modules, and we set up a portal RSS feed for the big project for you guys, and we've set up the site search using your Google search appliance. So we've done a lot of work. Some of it is easy to demonstrate, and some of it is more behind the scenes and a little more complex than others. But it has been a lot of work, and we've made really a lot of great progress here as well. And a big thanks to all the UMN folks that have been helping us do that. For this demo, we mainly concentrated on, there's a lot of the styling pieces. I'm going to turn this over to Beth in just a moment, and she's going to show you, just walk through this list of tickets, and even demonstrate the emergency violator piece as well, so that when you guys have anything that's happening on the campus, you can easily alert people to that. Beth, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to change you to the presenter, and then you will be able to share your screen. There you
Okay. I'm going to make the screen a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. Can everybody see my screen? Can people hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I hear you fine, Beth.
Um, okay, so the first thing I'm going to demonstrate is the single site emergency message. So from admin config, we will be able to check a box. Oops, I'm not logged in. People who are not logged in cannot set an emergency message. Sorry about that. Okay, so now that I'm logged in, I can edit the single site alert. And I can have one like preset and saved that's not enabled so that when it's time, I can just enable it. And it's going to take a while because it has to clear every cache. And what it will do on Acquia is that it will clear the varnish caches as well. So it's normal for it to sit and spin for a minute. Here we go. And now when I go to one of the pages that's using the theme, not the admin theme, I'll see here that the alert shows up. So I'm going to go back and disable the alert for now so that it's not distracting for the whole rest of the uh, demo. But you can see there how it works. And I'm going to disable the modules because otherwise it will continue trying to clear the varnish cache. Okay, while it's doing that, the next thing to demo is a few new things when editing nodes. Um, so I'll pull up a list of content. I have some sample content already on my local version of the site. It's just one of each type of node. So we can edit a few different types of content. So here you can see that there are now, for every single field, here, examples are down here. For the meta tags, there's now help text. There are more links to browse available tokens, as well as an explanation of what the tokens are. Under Open Graph, at the top of the field set, there's an explanation of what Open Graph is with some links. And there's the same thing for Dublin Core, a link to find out more about it. So that was part of the contributor prompts ticket. There's also the ability to schedule publication if it's not already published. There's explanations also as part of the contributor prompts for what will happen if you attempt to publish something and schedule it to be published at the same time. It won't break anything. It will just be redundant. A new draft will be created and published again. So it's not recommended to use both of those, but they both can be used without any problems. So there's a date pop-up, so I could set this to publish on Sunday and unpublish a week from Sunday. Still have to enter a message when I save it. Oops, and there appears to be a QA issue, which I will take a screenshot of and we will fix in the next sprint. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Beth.
And you can see that these scheduling options are available on all the different types of nodes, on news, even on landing pages. They can be scheduled, so that's pretty cool. Also, as part of contributor prompts, I'm not going to be able to show every single contributor prompt because there were quite a few different types, but the title now has help text as well. And there's also now a new node type of course, no pun intended. And if I spelled it right, it would work better. So title is optional. If you don't edit a title, it just becomes the subject and the number. So if I enter arts 100, then the title will become arts 100, or if I want to call it something else, I can. You can enter a range of credits, enter a description, some free tags, a degree type, which is a vocabulary, and that can be administered by an admin who can add new types to that field. And that's the course type, content type. So you can see it displays the tags as links, the degree type as link. We're already kind of looking at the next thing I was going to demo, which is the footer UL styling. As you can see, there are three columns at the bottom of the page. And if I want to add more, I will administer that via panels. I will edit the default site template. I'll go to content. And the reason they're displaying that way so beautifully is because the style is set to equal sized panes. So I went in and did this before the demo. I changed the style to equal sized panes and I created 3 blocks. I can add another block of content. I'll just add some text. And I'll make it wide to fill up the screen so you can see how it wraps. When I add a new one, I'll update it and save it. And then I can view a themed page again. And you can see there are now 4, and they've adjusted automatically to, to each be a quarter of the width. If I make my screen narrower, you can see that now it goes down to 2. And if I make it even narrower, it goes eventually, oops, if I get rid of the menu, down to 1. Oops, what did I just do? There we go. Down to 1 column, so they all stack. But we'll make this big again. So you can keep adding, and they'll keep squishing to all be equal parts of the width of the page, which is pretty cool. There also is the possibility to have drop downs now in the main menu. You can see this looks a little weird because these were automatically generated, and these are both pointing to the front page, so that's why they're both highlighted. But right now, there's no drop downs. The way to enable that is pretty easy. You have to enable the superfish module as well as the blocks module to be able to administer the block. And there's documentation that will be delivered for this, so you don't have to memorize these steps right now. I'll enable superfish, and I'll also enable the core block module. Oh, and Ryan pointed out in the chat that if there's an odd number of columns in the footer, then at tablet size there will be a row with only 1 entry. So it will be aligned as if there was an empty block next to it. And that's only for tablet because they'll spread out in full width, and in mobile view they will just stack one at a time. So now I have blocks in my structure. I can find superfish block. It automatically makes 4 different blocks. You don't want to place it because we're going to do that with panels. We're just going to use the first one. So we select the menu we want to use. Main menu is fine for us. We leave things pretty much the way they are, except that we want to uncheck auto arrows and drop shadows. Those are things that Superfish adds that aren't really compatible with custom theme. Everything else can stay the same. We save it. Then we place it via panels. In the default site template again, we go to content. And here where the main menu is now, we will want to add our new, under blocks, we want to find Superfish 1 is the one that we change the settings on. We'll add that one. It looks weird now because it's not styled in the preview, but once we apply the style primary navigation for Superfish to this menu, save it, we disable the old menu, and we also have to override the title for this with the blank one, otherwise there will be a weird title showing up in our pane. So now we're all set. We'll update and save. And we can go to a themed page and see that it looks pretty much the same until we mouse over something that has child items, and we can see that there's this drop down. So that's now styled so it'll look right. So that's pretty cool. And it's set to just operate with one level of child items. If you had more levels, then the pop-outs would just continue happening to the right. So there would, like, this red square would have another red square to the right with the child items, and that would continue for as many different levels of child items as you had. There was also styling done on some different content types. You can already see there's a faculty one that we've already looked at. There's also staff and also news items that we can look at. So we can see that this has been styled. There's some layout there. There's an image automatically sized. And the same for staff. And the same for news. And for news, there's also the ability to manually curate news in a list now. So users with permissions to do so will go to structure, and now there's an item called node queues. And there is, by default, a node queue for news items. So we can view this node queue, and we can see that there are these news items in the list. If we want to add another thing to the list, we've got this autocomplete field that will find news items for us. I've added all 3 that have the letter A in them already. But if you know the title of what you want to add, you can add it. You can also add them by editing that item's page. If I were to pull up a news item that's not already in the list, such as Luctus Zillus, it was generated by an automatic lorem ipsum content generator. I can click node queue at the top of the node, and I have the option to add it to this queue that it's eligible to join. And so now when I refresh my other view of the queue, it's present and I can position it. And so in lists, these will show up. And there's a view set up that I will demo. Um, right now it's not placed anywhere, so you can't see it, but you can see, oh, none of these are published, that's why they're not showing up. It filters out unpublished news, but I can publish them all. Update the preview. And now we see that in this list they're present and they'll be sorted. The next item on the agenda is Workbench Moderation and Panelizer. So if I have an item, we can use one of these. And I can edit the draft and see, oops, you can see that it is not, so I'm going to publish it. And then once it's published, I can create using the Panelizer tab. I'm clicking here. For full page override, I can go to Content, and I can change the layout and have a draft of different layout. So I can say move the links and the publication date and the image over to the content sidebar, and I can put the pull quote in the main content. And then if I want to keep this version of it in a draft, I can save it. And now you see that I have a View Draft tab. So when I view the published version of the node, this is what the public, or the public that can use my local sandbox, can see. So you've got the image to the far right, etc. If I click View Draft, I can see my draft version of the layout, but it's not yet published. So that's pretty cool. You can draft not only new content, but new layouts. The next item is configurable asset source directory for migration. We can't demo actually using it because we didn't have the assets folder. We tried to download them again, and there was a 404. But I can show you the UI for setting that location, and I can show you that the validation on it works. So right now I have a valid folder specified that's on my computer. If I told it something that didn't make any sense, it would know that it doesn't make sense. So it doesn't have to be, and it preferably wouldn't be, inside the web root. You can, anywhere on your server, you can tell it where to get the assets from. The next item to demo is the site-wide social icons. So we'll have to enable a module for this one. The module is called On the Web. Oh, it's already enabled. Excellent. So we'll go to the admin settings for that. And we can set things like what icon size to use. whether to use the site name and link titles, whether to open in new windows, and it's preloaded with the UMN Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube pages. Unfortunately, it does not have an Instagram option, but it also offers Google+, Flickr, MySpace, LinkedIn, iTunes, Delicious, friend feed, and an RSS page. And so that creates a block that can be placed via panels. Oops. I'm going to edit the site template again. Go to content. And then I can add the blocks to the region I want to put them in. So I'm going to put them in the subfooter for now. They can go anywhere. Select from the list of blocks. Add the, I think that it's confused by my attempt to make the screen bigger for everybody to be able to see it. It's not showing me all of the blocks. This is interesting. I think we've run into a bug in panels.
You're looking for on the web, right?
Yeah. Oh, I found it. It's right there.
Okay.
Thank you, Robin. I've been sitting in front of my computer too long. I'm going to override title so it doesn't have a title. The default title is find us on ... You can add a new title or you can just get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to save. Save my settings, and then I will view a themed page. And we've got an interesting situation on the main page that's showing multiple nodes because the customize this page button comes up for everyone that there is, so it hides it, but there we go. So now you can see at the bottom of the page we've got Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube because those are the ones that we entered links for. And those are the small size icons. And the last item on the demo agenda is iTunes U. We didn't really have to do any code for this. All we did was figure out that you can go to iTunes, you can right click on an item and get the link. So it's not really very demoable, but you can see that I did get a link and paste it in here into this piece of content. There's no special field for it right now. It's just you can put it anywhere you would put any kind of web link, and when you click on it, it takes you to the content. So that's it. That concludes the demo. Are there any questions? I made everything super, super clear.
I think so. Are there any questions?
I'm wondering at the beginning when you were demonstrating the emergency violator and you were disabling the module, was that just to speed up the problem with the cache to move on with the demo, or
yeah, it was just to move on with the demo because it otherwise was popping up an image every time I saved a node telling me that it wasn't able to clear the varnish cache for that node because it's not, because I don't have varnish on my laptop. If it were on Acquia, it would clear the varnish cache just for that node every time a node's updated. So that's pretty smart and it's pretty great, but it doesn't work when you don't have varnish.
Right, and we did test that on one of the subscriptions before we committed that to the main branch. So it has been tested on one of the Acquia subscriptions.
Yes, the idea behind it is that it's supposed to, when you click go, it resets all of the caches, the Drupal cache as well as the varnish one, so that it will immediately be displayed. It was supposed to be an emergency violator, and we thought that getting that message out there as quickly as possible was the idea. We're also in the process of suppressing that message so that people who are testing it out locally don't see the message. It's completely harmless, but we figured it might be annoying, so as a quality of life change, we're just making that message not show up. For the moment, though, it does serve as a really great reminder that it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
I don't know if you actually even saw the error message because I disabled the modules before I continued. So I'll enable them again and save a node so you can see just what it looks like. It basically tells me that it can't find varnish and that it can't clear Acquia's caches. It doesn't like crash terribly or anything. It's just not very happy. So assuming it's, oh, it wants me to enter a log message. It's very much a stickler for paperwork. Yeah, so this is the error that would come up every time I saved a node during the whole demo if I had not disabled those modules. So it just tells me I'm not running on Acquia Cloud and there's no load balancers because I'm running this on my laptop. Does that answer the question? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Were there any other questions while Beth has this still as the presenter? Okay. I'm going to take back over the presenter and just go through the rest of the slides, and then we'll also have more time for questions at the end. It's taken away my slides. Okay. Can everyone see my screen okay now? Robin, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Here.
Just some items that were not easily, set up for a demo. We still completed these tickets as well. We were very aggressive in this sprint. Probably even took on more stories than we generally would. Just trying to get this base install at least to a 95% complete state, and I think we accomplished that. And then, of course, of the remaining 5%, here's about where we would be. A few items, or a lot of these are QA tickets that were just we didn't get a chance to do or complete this morning. So many of these are pretty much done. We just have to check them over and go through the QA process. And even the CBS pilot site, that's just a ticket we have for reviewing the responsive designs there, and there's just some remaining conversations going on about that. So on our side, we reviewed them, and I think now we're just following up with Miranda on some items there. And on the user authentication piece, I just wanted to give you a quick update that we are working with Acquia on that and getting the shibboleth piece working. And we even had what looks to be a really good update from Acquia just prior to this that we want to vet out a little further. And it does look promising that we might be able to have something there early next week. Just action items here. After this, you saw during the demo there, something popped up and Beth took a screenshot. We'll add that into our QA for as a story for the next sprint. Anything that you guys see, John, you're really good about putting in tickets and letting us know any discrepancies you see in your sandbox as well. So we take those, put them into QA, and work them into the next sprint. Again, Sprint 7 planning begins next week. We will start that planning internally and then review with John, and I think Steve might be on vacation, but we'll review with him Monday afternoon and then get started. And then our next Sprint review will be 2 weeks from today, January 24th. So ongoing QA, any feedback you guys have for us, that user authentication, we understand the importance of that, and especially as we start getting closer to pushing some of the pilot sites live onto the platform. So we're really focusing on that and making sure that we get that one ready and going soon. And then, of course, the sprint planning that we mentioned. So again, thank you, everyone. Hope you're all having a happy New Year so far, and that continues. John and Steve, you guys are doing great as product owners. You really help us prioritize and focus on what's important for UMN. And then Ryan DeBaker, Christina, Jim Hart, David, Jordan, all you guys. Ryan, you're doing a great job with everything you've done on the migration piece. We would not be at the 95% state at this point without that work. And Christina just staying on top of things, and all you guys working on the designs as well. And Molly, she's the grad site owner. She's really doing a great job jumping in, getting her feet wet, really helping, and she's learning Drupal on the fly, I think. So, but she's doing a great job so far, and we really appreciate that. And I think she's going to be an example for all of you as you get ready to migrate onto the platform as well. So with that, I'll turn it back over for any questions. And John, any comments or anything you have?
I have one thing that I'd like to add that was not discussed during the demo, but during the sprint, Palantir, also working with Ryan DeBaker, was able to do the final migration push for the graduate school. And now the graduate school, Molly and her team are working on getting their site cleaned up and ready for going live. So hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll be ready to show our first live site.
Okay, yeah, that's a very important update to have there. Like I say, those guys are working really hard, and it's a big deal, the amount of work they've been doing. Any other questions, comments? Okay, John, I'm going to take the silence as we're done, and like I say, everybody have a happy New Year, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Thank you.